So now we have that area where we have to cut the angle on the back end of this. One way to do it is if I had someone holding this, I could take a straight edge and that line would go straight across right there. Okay. Another way to do it is using a tool called a sliding T-bevel. So I'll set the sliding T-bevel up to that angle that I need here. So right there's my angle. So when I set this on here, now I have an upside already marked, so I make sure I keep my upside correct because I didn't sand that part that I'm cutting off. Then I bring this up to that line, just like so. And then I draw that line across. I just want to take a look at it, and it looks like I'm going to need to take that line off in order for it to be accurate. So when I take it over the table saw, I want that line going. Maybe I'll come down a little bit more and redraw it. So I'm going to be right on that line right there. So let me show you how to do that. So we have it set up right now the way that we had for cutting our rabbets. Now I'm going to do this differently because this is going to go through like this, and it actually is going to be cut at the opposite angle than what this is here. So I have it, at school we have a right tilt blade. My table saw is a left tilt blade. So what that means is this. Let me bring the blade higher. And when I go ahead and tilt that, it tilts in that direction. So to get my angle, I'm going to go grab that sliding T-bevel. I'm going to set it to just where I need to be. So the T-bevel goes on the table like so. And I am going to start angling this. So this will be on this side here. Right there looks perfect. Let me get you in a spot where you can see that. Okay, I'm gonna bring my blade higher so I can have more of a reference surface there, but that's the right angle that I want for cutting this. Okay. It is, however, on the wrong side. So I'm going to bring my blade down, so I'm cutting only through the wood, not unnecessarily higher than what I need. I'm going to lift up my fence and bring it to the other side of the saw. Okay? So I'm going to cut this angle right here. So I'm going to try that. See how that looks. Move you a little bit over. And I'm going to use a push stick for this. This is a different kind of cut. I'm not going to be going through with my left hand like this. I actually stand inside the saw like that and put it through. One thing we want to make sure we always have on this is a splitter. The splitter does a nice job of keeping it back. Let's go take a look, see how we did. I'm gonna vacuum off. So now I'll set this on here like so. And you can see that now that lines up with that back edge there. So that's gonna work out just fine. It also makes the one hole closer to the edge, you can see there. So the next step for this is I have to go ahead and pre-drill 1/8" holes into all these as pre-drills to go through. And then when I put it on, I will do that again. So I'm going to take an 1/8" bit. And we talked about if I hold the board out the side here, and by the way, you can see that there's little spots in the middle there from our previous bit to show center. If I go straight through all of those, it's going to produce a little bit of a chip out in the back. You can see those hairs coming out. But it's an area that doesn't really matter that much. You're not losing anything in the way of glue surface with that. So I don't even worry about putting some behind that. Let's go ahead and pre-drill all these holes on all the rails. Now, the reason for pre-drilling there is when I go ahead and put a rail on, if I have not pre-drilled, and I come through like this and make my cut, very often, as you're exiting the rail and going into the leg, the board will shift a little bit. Now, we have the luxury of having a rabbet there that's going to hold us kind of in place there, but you never want to have your pre-drill on the over top of another workpiece that you want the screw to go into, because you get a little bit of a shift in between there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pre-drill all these rails here, so they'll all have 1/8 inch holes. They'll all be finish sanded. What have I not finished sanded? I have not finished sanded the outsides of the legs. I have finished sanded the insides of the legs. The outsides, because these are going to come through and sit flush there, I'll sand the whole surface with that on it. And in that instance, I'll use the electric sander. So that's the next thing I'll show you. But for right now, I'm just going to be cutting out these pre-drills and all these rails. And then we'll be doing assembling next.